Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, May 17th, 2018 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, it is my responsibility how I see things. And today, not too much going on. We're still feeling the shifts, though, of the planetary energies. We still have Uranus at 0 degrees. We still have Mars at 0 degrees. And so we are just like kind of adjusting to these energies still. With Mars at 0 degrees, sometimes our yang energy, our action energy can feel a little bit offline. So if you're feeling a little tired, do the yin thing and take it easy on yourself. Uranus at 0 degrees, your nervous system is like adjusting to these new energies like, whoa, what's happening? We're all a little shook up. So again, take it easy on yourself. But there is interesting stuff that came through messages with the astro energies. So we have the moon finishing up in Gemini. Moon in Gemini stimulates our mind, connects our mind to the emotional side of things. This moon in Gemini is making a very interesting connection to Venus and Pallas. Now, with the moon conjunct Venus, I already had this come through, and then when I saw that Pallas was there, I was like, oh, yes, this is such an important message with this. Things aren't often just how you see them. There's always a lot more to the story than what you see. Now, the Pallas aspect of this brings in a really interesting perspective, point. The Pallas aspect in this is how often do we see things as we've been told to see them? For instance, in history. This sticks out in my head, and I wish I could find where I read it. One time I read something about all the misaligned females in history, and Mary Magdalene was one, you know. What was her name? Let Them Eat Cake, her. I can't think of her name right now. But what they talked about was this is what she really was saying, and really the perspective from where she was probably coming, and yet it was so much easier to make her a villain. How many of us feed into those stories, those things that we've heard, that some authority figure, a teacher, a priest, a parent has told us, and maybe it was passed on down to them. It's not necessarily their fault. But how many of those stories are we holding on to? This is an opportunity to realize things aren't often how we see them. There's often so much more going on, and it's our opportunity to take that responsibility, how we're going to see these things. And the card from the Journey of Love reminds us that we have the opportunity to see the light in things. Now, this doesn't mean like take the most horrible person in your life and just see the light and let them continue to be horrible to you. It's not about that. But find that light in them. That's part of the Rhythm Nation. That's part of the connection. And that's going to help you understand things from another perspective. And that's going to help you shift things in your life. Everything has that light. Everything has that connecting piece. And sometimes we get so caught up in the negative stories that that's just where we're kind of at a standstill at. If you can do that, often things will shift. So watch what comes up for you today and be vigilant about it. Now, this is also a call not to get caught in illusions of anything. Illusion's always a fun thing. You know, be realistic about it, but find the light because it is there. The moon will then shift into Cancer, bringing the emotional tide of things. Moon in Cancer with the sun in Taurus, sun finishing up in Taurus. This is a really good call for some spring cleaning, some nice changes around the home. Moon in Cancer can bring our attention to the home, nesting, nurturing. So, you know, today, feather your nest. Make sure you have a nice little comfortable place where you can sit and meditate on the light of all things. The moon, after it shifts into Cancer, will connect with Uranus. Now, this would usually be kind of like uncomfortable because the moon likes comfort and Uranus likes change, and so there might be that, but Uranus is still at this 0 degree energy, so it's really not completely activating all of the Uranian shenanigans that could happen. But just realize this again might be that call for some spring cleaning, some, you know, getting rid of some of those old pillows, bringing in some change. Bring up some change to reflect where you are in your current rhythm national self. I don't know what I'm really saying, but, you know, in your current vibration to mesh and meld with you. I got good cards. I think this is the most important one. Hey, computer. It's getting dim. Understanding. Understanding. Finding the light. Seeing the light. Holding that understanding. Again, it doesn't mean you allow the shit, but it means that you see that connection and you can allow them to go about their lessons. This will create inner harmony with yourself. That's the goal always, is finding the harmony, finding the center, finding the balance within you, which will bring you into maturity. Let's read this card really fast. It's really and not so much about the rest of the card. The rest of the card, the light field, is about your psychic opening, which as we evolve and as we shift out all the stuff, we will open psychically. But I love the little poem right here. When I'm in love, I'm not afraid to be any part of me. I let it all be free for the world to know. And when I'm ready to love, I will create a reflection of who I am. And we will shed our fears, complete our past, and trust love to be our guide. And that just reminds me of finding that light field. Any part of me, I'm not afraid to be, and let it be free. And when you're allowing yourself to be free, it's a lot easier to allow others in their lives to be who they are. So that is it for today. I'm still getting back to everybody who booked readings. Give me my time, because this is a lot of balancing right now going on here. But I promise, I got you. You can always book a reading, GaiaBlooming.com, although the website right now is being really slow. We're actually going to revamp it. So you can always email me if you'd like to book a reading, mimiclark@gmail.com. There's enough love in the world for you, and the better it gets, the better it gets. I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.